Alex stared at the small holographic screen in his hand. The message was simple but unexpected. New roommate assigned, Lyra, species Zalara. Arrival time, 800 hours. He blinked. A new roommate? On a space colony? And an alien, no less. He leaned back in his chair, letting out a sigh. Life on the Aurora colony was peaceful but lonely. Humans had made a home among the stars, but most of the population was small and roommates were rare. And now a Zalara? He didn't even know what that species looked like. By 0800 hours, Alex had tidied his small living quarters as best as he could. His room was functional: bunk bed, desk, small storage unit, and a window that looked out over the sprawling colony. Outside, massive structures reflected the blue and orange light of the nearby sun, and ships moved like tiny fireflies in the distance. A soft chime echoed through the room. The door opened automatically, sliding to the side with a gentle hiss. Alex turned quickly and froze. Standing in the doorway was a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. Lyra. Her skin shimmered like polished silver, and her eyes were large and luminous, reflecting every color of the room. Her body was tall and slender, with limbs that seemed slightly longer than human proportions. There was a quiet grace to her, a smoothness in the way she moved, but something about her gaze was curious, intensely curious. Alex's mouth opened, but no words came out. Lyra tilted her head slightly as if analyzing him. Then, surprisingly, she smiled. "Hello, human," she said in a soft voice. "I am Lyra. I hope I am not intruding." Alex cleared his throat. No, I mean yes, but not really. Welcome to the room." He stepped aside, motioning toward the space inside. She entered cautiously, moving as though the floor itself might react to her weight. She glanced around, her eyes flicking to the bed, the desk, and the small personal items Alex had scattered about. "It is different," she said. "Your species' living spaces are unique," Alex chuckled nervously. "Yeah, humans like to keep things simple. Minimal tech, minimal fuss. Not like your advanced species, I guess." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Advanced, perhaps, but your species' simplicity is interesting. It is warm." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Warm?" She nodded. "Yes, it feels like a reflection of your nature. You make do with less. You find ways to adapt. You survive." The words caught Alex off guard. He had never thought about it that way. To him, surviving on Aurora Colony was just life. But hearing an alien notice it made him pause. "Well," he said finally, trying to shake off the nervous tension, "I hope we can get along. Sharing a room with someone from another planet could be fun, I guess." Lyra tilted her head again. "Fun. I will learn this word." They spent the next few minutes exchanging basic information. Alex learned that Lyra's species, the Zalara, had advanced neural technology integrated into their bodies, allowing them to process information at incredible speeds. Lyra explained this without arrogance, almost casually, as if it was normal. Alex, meanwhile, tried to explain human biology, culture, and habits, but struggled to capture the depth of human adaptability in mere words. It was when Alex excused himself to change into a fresh set of clothes that an awkward moment happened. The door to his room had no lock, and Lyra was already standing inside, curious as ever. Alex froze mid-step, realizing he had been caught in a private moment. To his surprise, Lyra did not recoil or show any sign of discomfort. Instead, she raised a finger to her chin, observing. "Interesting," she said. "Your species' physical form, it is more variable than mine. Fascinating." Alex's face turned red, but he couldn't help laughing nervously. Thanks?" Her expression remained thoughtful, and she added, "You humans change. You adapt. Your body and mind are remarkable in ways I did not expect." That one sentence eased the tension. Instead of embarrassment, Alex felt a strange sense of pride. Maybe humans were weird. Maybe they made mistakes. But they were extraordinary in their unpredictability. That unpredictability. Lyra seemed to admire it. Over the next few hours, they settled into a rhythm. Alex showed her how to use basic human appliances, like the small coffee maker and the old holopad. Lyra shared tips on efficient room management and subtle ways to conserve energy using advanced Zalara technology. As the day went on, Alex noticed how her eyes lit up at the simplest things. A photograph of Earth pinned to the wall, a small potted plant on the windowsill, even the way the sunlight fell across the floor. Lyra was fascinated not by the technology he possessed, but by the human ways of living, creativity, resourcefulness, and emotion. "Your species thrives on imperfections," Lyra said quietly, almost to herself. "And yet you succeed. You survive. You flourish." Alex smiled, sensing a new respect in her words. He realized that perhaps humans had something special that even advanced aliens could not fully replicate. By evening, they had shared a meal of synthesized vegetables and nutrient packs, sitting across from each other at the small table. Conversation flowed easily now, more relaxed than it had been in the morning. Lyra asked questions about Earth, about human history, about human dreams. Alex found himself explaining simple things, playing soccer as a kid, reading stories under the stars, imagining life beyond the solar system. Lyra listened intently, nodding. "Your dreams. They are unpredictable, creative, bold. Your species sees the world not just as it is, but as it could be. That is unusual." Alex laughed. "I guess humans do have a tendency to imagine impossible things. Sometimes we even make them real." She studied him for a long moment. "Perhaps that is why you survive where others might fail. Not just your intelligence, but your courage, your creativity, your adaptability. It is admirable." The sun outside set, casting a golden glow across the room. Alex realized something strange. He was no longer nervous about sharing his space with Lyra. He felt a sense of companionship, of mutual respect. She was different, undeniably so, but not threatening. She was fascinated by humanity, and in turn, he was intrigued by her. As the lights dimmed, Alex lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. The first day with an alien roommate had been awkward, surprising, and enlightening. Lyra was extraordinary, no doubt, but in her curiosity and her admiration, Alex saw a mirror of what made humans special. And for the first time since he arrived on Aurora Colony, he felt proud not just of himself but of his entire species. Humans were unpredictable, adaptive, and capable of greatness, and apparently even an advanced alien could see it. Outside, the colony lights twinkled under the vast sky of stars. Inside, two very different beings shared a small room, beginning a friendship that would soon challenge everything they knew about themselves and about what it meant to be human. The morning light filtered through the small window of the room, casting long shadows across the floor. Alex stretched, blinking awake, and immediately noticed Lyra sitting cross-legged on the floor. Her eyes focused on a small holographic interface hovering above her hands. "Good morning," he said, yawning. Lyra looked up, her expression bright. "Good morning, human Alex. Are you ready to begin our learning session?" Alex raised an eyebrow. "Learning session?" "Yes," she said simply. "I want to understand your species better, and I want to help you understand mine. It is part of our cohabitation agreement." Alex laughed. "I guess that's fair. But don't expect me to learn Zalara technology in a day." She tilted her head, a motion that seemed almost like a smile. "I do not expect that. But I do expect curiosity." They spent the first hour exploring their differences. Alex explained the basics of human biology, nutrition, and habits. Lyra absorbed every word with intense focus, occasionally tilting her head or asking questions Alex never thought about. "Why do humans eat more than necessary?" she asked. Alex grinned. "It's not just about survival. Food is pleasure too, culture, sharing meals, it's part of being human." Lyra processed the answer silently for a moment. "Interesting. Your species values experience, not only survival. That is unusual." Then it was Lyra's turn. She demonstrated her species' neural interface, a small crystal-like device that could connect to computers, databases, and even other Zalara minds. With a flick of her hand, she pulled up complex schematics, maps, and historical records. Alex stared at the display. "That's incredible. You can access all that information instantly?" "Yes," she said. "My species relies on speed and memory, but we lack imagination. That is something you humans possess. It is unpredictable, fascinating." Alex smiled. "I guess you could say humans are more flexible. We think outside the box. Sometimes we fail, but we also surprise ourselves and others." Lyra nodded slowly. "I see now. That is why your species survives difficult situations. You do not rely solely on logic. You combine thought with emotion, intuition, and creativity." By mid-morning, Alex decided it was time for a small challenge. "Okay, Lyra, let's try something fun. I'll give you a simple task. Build a basic energy collector using only these materials, he said, pointing to a pile of spare parts he had saved from previous colony projects. Lyra's eyes widened. You want me to create? Yes, just like humans do. No instructions, no database guides. Just creativity and problem solving. She studied the parts carefully, tilting her head. This is strange. My species does not often create in this way. We follow efficiency, but I will try. Alex watched her work. Slowly, deliberately, she began assembling the parts, combining pieces in ways that were functional but also elegant. The energy collector took shape under her hands, unlike anything Alex had expected. It hummed with energy, converting sunlight into power. You did it, Alex exclaimed. That's amazing. Lyra looked at it, then at him. Your species calls this improvisation? Yes, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the attempt itself is valuable. She nodded. I understand. You humans take risks. You experiment. You learn through action, not only observation. For the rest of the day, they alternated teaching and learning. Alex introduced Lyra to human entertainment, board games, music, and even simple humor. Lyra's reactions were a mixture of curiosity and delight. She laughed at the jokes even if she sometimes misunderstood the punchline. Why do humans laugh at nonsense? She asked at one point. Alex grinned. It's a way to bond. To release stress. To enjoy life even when it doesn't make perfect sense. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Your species values emotion. Even frivolity is a tool for survival. Fascinating. In turn, Lyra showed Alex simulations of other planets, advanced physics concepts, and even meditation techniques used by her species to increase focus. Alex struggled to follow at first, but Lyra was patient. Your species may lack instantaneous processing, she said kindly, but your persistence is impressive. You continue to learn despite limitations, that is, human. By evening, both were exhausted but exhilarated. Alex leaned back against his bed. I never thought learning could be this intense. Lyra smiled softly. Knowledge is more than data. It is understanding. And you humans, you grasp meaning in ways my species rarely does. You connect emotion with intellect. That is extraordinary. Alex felt a swell of pride. Thanks, Lyra. I never thought of it like that. Later, as they prepared for rest, Lyra paused by the window, gazing out at the colony lights. Your species' resilience is remarkable, she said quietly. Despite limited technology, limited resources, and small numbers, humans thrive. You adapt in ways we cannot predict. You create solutions that my species would never consider. Alex nodded. We don't always get it right, but we try. We survive, and sometimes we flourish. She turned to him. Yes, and it is precisely that quality that makes humans impressive, Alex smiled. He realized their strange first day, awkward introductions, misunderstandings, and cultural gaps had turned into a mutual respect. Lyra admired human creativity and adaptability, while he was fascinated by her knowledge and precision. Together, they were learning to combine their strengths. Before sleep, Alex thought about the challenges ahead. Living with an alien roommate was going to be an adventure. It wasn't just about sharing space, it was about sharing ideas, learning from each other and discovering new ways to think. Outside, the stars twinkled against the black canvas of space, each one a reminder of the vast universe waiting to be explored. Inside, two very different beings shared a room, beginning a partnership that promised to be more than just cohabitation. It was a meeting of minds, a bridge between species, and a glimpse of the extraordinary potential humans carried within them. And as he drifted off to sleep, Alex realized something that made him proud in a way he hadn't expected. In a galaxy full of advanced beings, humans, his species, still had something unique to offer, something that could surprise the universe. Tomorrow, he thought, would be another day of learning, and perhaps another moment where humans would show just how remarkable they could be. Alex woke to the blaring alarm of the colony's emergency system. Red lights flashed across the ceiling, casting sharp shadows. Something was wrong, very wrong. He bolted out of bed, nearly colliding with Lyra, who was already standing by the window. Her silver skin reflected the flashing lights, and her large eyes glowed with concern. Alex, she said calmly, the colony's orbital sensors have detected an asteroid on a collision course, impact estimated in 4 hours. Evacuation may be necessary if containment fails. Alex swallowed hard. 4 hours. That was barely any time. But his mind raced. Humans were always faced with impossible situations, and somehow they always found a way. He glanced at Lyra. "We need a plan, fast." Lyra nodded. "Agreed. I have access to the colony's defense systems, but I require human input to solve the resource distribution problem. My species relies on logic alone, but humans anticipate chaos." Alex felt a surge of pride. She trusted human intuition. "Okay," he said, rolling up his sleeves. "Let's do this." They rushed to the control hub, a small room filled with consoles and holographic displays. Scientists and engineers were already coordinating with Colony Command, but panic was starting to ripple through the team. "Alex, your species' problem-solving approach may be beneficial here," Lyra said. "Explain your ideas quickly." Alex took a deep breath. "We need a two-step approach. First, we try to divert the asteroid with the colony's kinetic projectors, but they can only handle so much energy at once. So we have to predict which impact points are most critical and focus our power there. Second, if containment fails, we prepare shelters for everyone." Lyra's eyes widened. "You prioritize unpredictability and uncertainty. Interesting, that is human logic?" "Something like it," Alex replied, scanning the asteroid's projected trajectory. He adjusted his calculations using both human intuition and Lyra's precise data. Together, they created a plan that combined speed, accuracy, and flexibility. "Let's assign tasks," Alex said. "I'll coordinate the projector targeting. You, Lyra, handle system optimization. Everyone else prepare the emergency shelters as backup." For the next hour, Alex and Lyra worked side by side. The room buzzed with activity. Lyra's neural interface allowed her to calculate projector outputs in milliseconds, while Alex used pattern recognition and intuition to anticipate weak points in the asteroid structure. They argued politely over calculations, their combined efforts refining the plan. "Try channeling more energy through the northern projector," Alex suggested. "The asteroid's trajectory isn't perfectly linear. It's rotating slightly. If we time it right." Lyra analyzed and nodded. "Your suggestion is unconventional, but it may work. Initiating adjustment now." Minutes passed like hours. Sweat dripped from Alex's forehead, and Lyra's glowing eyes scanned streams of data relentlessly. Finally, the projector fired. A massive beam of concentrated energy struck the asteroid. Sensors tracked its movement. "It's changing course," Alex shouted. Lyra's voice was steady, though her eyes betrayed a hint of amazement. Yes, the rotation adjustment was critical. Human intuition contributed to success. Alex grinned. "Told you humans could be useful in emergencies." But the crisis was not over. The asteroid split into several smaller fragments, still on dangerous trajectories toward the colony. Shelters had to be ready. Evacuation routes had to be calculated in seconds. Human adaptability and quick decision-making became crucial. Alex led teams to coordinate evacuation, improvising routes when a corridor became blocked by debris. Lyra assisted by calculating energy rerouting and structural reinforcements, but it was Alex's human instinct that saved several teams from being trapped. "Move left. Use the auxiliary tunnel," he shouted, guiding colonists to safety. People followed, trusting his decisions. Lyra followed close behind, analyzing every move. "Your decisions are unpredictable yet effective. Humans truly excel under pressure." After nearly 3 hours of chaos and precise coordination, the final fragment of the asteroid passed by the colony, missing its critical infrastructure by mere meters. Alarms ceased. The flashing red lights dimmed. Silence fell over the control hub. Alex sank into a chair, breathing heavily. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, not in a threatening way, but in acknowledgement. "You were extraordinary," she said simply. "Your species' ability to adapt in real time, it saved many lives today." Alex smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We make mistakes, we improvise, but we survive. That's humans for you." Lyra studied him for a long moment. "I underestimated your species. We Zalara value efficiency and precision, but humans are unpredictable. And that unpredictability is invaluable," Alex chuckled. "Guess unpredictability is our secret weapon." Even though the immediate danger had passed, the colony was not yet safe. Systems were damaged, supplies were low, and some shelters had structural weaknesses. But instead of despair, a sense of determination filled the air. Humans and Zalara alike began working together, blending efficiency with adaptability. Over the next hour, Alex and Lyra coordinated repair teams, combining their strengths. Lyra could calculate the optimal repairs in seconds, but Alex noticed things she could not. Small structural weaknesses, human errors, and morale issues. His leadership and quick thinking complemented her precision perfectly. "Alex," Lyra said, pausing to watch him direct a team, "your species inspires others to act, even when fear is present. That is remarkable." He shrugged, feeling proud. "Humans survive together. We fight, adapt, and support each other. Fear is just a challenge to overcome." By evening, the colony had stabilized. Damage was repaired, shelters reinforced, and colonists fed. Exhausted, Alex and Lyra stood together, gazing out at the horizon. The sky glowed with the aftermath of the asteroid's close pass, streaks of light painting the darkness. "You humans, you are extraordinary," Lyra said softly. "Your species' resilience, courage, and ingenuity surpass what I imagined. Today you proved it beyond doubt." Alex smiled, tired but fulfilled. "Thanks, Lyra, but you were amazing too. Without your tech and knowledge, we wouldn't have even had a chance." She nodded. "Yes, but it was your human creativity and courage that made the difference. You are remarkable." For the first time, Alex truly understood the meaning of HFY. Humans are special. Not because of technology, not because of power, but because of ingenuity, courage, and the ability to act decisively in impossible situations. Humans could adapt, survive, and even thrive where logic alone would fail. As they walked back to their shared quarters, the two of them were no longer just roommates. They were partners. A human and an alien united by respect, trust, and the knowledge that together they could face anything the universe threw at them. Alex lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, reflecting on the day's events. The crisis had been terrifying, exhausting, and overwhelming, but also exhilarating. He realized that humans' greatest power was not strength or technology, but adaptability and determination. Lyra sat quietly by the window, her silver skin glowing softly in the dim light. "Your species is extraordinary," she whispered. "I am fortunate to witness your ingenuity firsthand." Alex smiled in the dark. "And I'm lucky to have a roommate like you. Together we're unstoppable." Outside, the colony rested under a blanket of stars. Inside, a human and an alien had faced disaster, and together they had triumphed. The day had tested their abilities, their courage, and their trust in one another. And in the process, it had proven that humans, no matter the challenge, could rise above any danger. Tomorrow, Alex thought, would bring new challenges. But now he knew. Humans had something special. Something that could not be measured by technology or intelligence alone. Something the universe had yet to fully understand. And with Lyra by his side, he felt ready for whatever came next. The day after the asteroid crisis, the colony buzzed with activity. The damage was extensive. Communication arrays were down, solar panels partially destroyed, and several habitat modules needed urgent repairs. But unlike the panic of the previous day, this was organized chaos. Humans and Zalara worked side by side, and at the center of it all stood Alex. He moved quickly between teams, checking each repair station, offering advice, and spotting potential problems before they became emergencies. Lyra followed closely, her eyes scanning data and calculations faster than anyone could process manually. Yet it was Alex's intuition that guided the operation. Where machines could calculate, he anticipated. Where algorithms failed, his human adaptability shone. "Alex," Lyra called, pointing to a partially collapsed support beam. "The structural integrity calculation suggests that if we remove it, the entire module may fail." Alex crouched, examining the beam. "I see that," he said. "But if we reinforce it first using the spare struts over there, we can safely remove the damaged section. It's risky, but it works with human timing and adaptability." Lyra tilted her head. "Risky, yet effective. Your species' solution is unconventional, but I trust your judgment." Hours passed in a blur. Teams followed Alex's guidance, improvising repairs with limited materials. Where Zalara engineers would stick strictly to precise calculations, humans adjusted on the fly. They rerouted power cables with duct tape and spare wiring. They reinforced walls with materials that technically shouldn't have worked, but did. At one point, a critical generator failed, threatening to halt all repair work. The Zalara engineers were stumped, waiting for a replacement part. Alex, without hesitation, scoured the storage room and found an old, discarded generator. It wasn't perfect, but he modified it with a combination of human ingenuity and Lyra's guidance. Within minutes, the power was restored. "You humans never cease to amaze me," Lyra said, watching him work. "Your solutions are always creative, even when resources are limited. My species would have waited for precise conditions. You adapt and act immediately." Alex wiped sweat from his forehead and grinned. "Adaptability is what keeps us alive. It's what makes humans special. You can have all the knowledge in the galaxy, but if you can't adjust when things go wrong, it's useless." By midday, the colony's habitat modules were structurally sound. The damaged solar panels were repaired well enough to provide temporary energy. Communications were partially restored. The colony was alive, and it was largely because of human initiative, creativity, and courage. As they took a brief break, Alex and Lyra sat together on a repaired observation platform overlooking the colony. The sun reflected off the distant mountains, and the stars began to emerge in the darkening sky. "You know," Lyra said, her voice quiet, "today proved what I suspected. Humans are more than survival-focused. You inspire others. You lead through example, not just commands. You improvise, you take risks, and you succeed." Alex laughed softly. "I guess that's what humans do. We don't have the fastest processors or perfect calculations, but we have instinct, courage, and teamwork. That's enough." Lyra studied him. "Enough? Today your species' abilities saved this colony. Your ingenuity and determination are extraordinary. I underestimated humans before." Alex felt a sense of pride unlike anything he had experienced. The HFY feeling, the idea that humans had qualities that even an advanced alien species admired, was no longer theoretical. Today had proved it. The afternoon brought another challenge. A small fire had broken out in the storage bay. Smoke filled the air, and alarms sounded. Colonists panicked, unsure how to handle the situation. Without hesitation, Alex grabbed a fire suppression unit and led a group inside. "Stay calm, follow my lead," he shouted. Lyra analyzed the situation, calculating airflow and oxygen levels. Alex, relying on human intuition, guided people around the fire, breaking up debris and making paths for evacuation. Together they contained the fire before it could spread further. "You humans, even in panic you act decisively," Lyra said after the fire was out. "You do not wait for perfection. You adapt and protect. That is remarkable." Even the Zalara colonists began to notice. They had relied on precision, rules, and calculations for centuries. Humans had shown them another approach: courage under pressure, creativity in chaos, and leadership without rigidity. As evening fell, Alex returned to his quarters, exhausted but satisfied. Lyra followed, her gaze thoughtful. "You know," she said quietly, "today I witnessed human problem-solving in its purest form. You face unknown dangers, yet your species' qualities allow you to survive and even thrive. This is why humans are extraordinary." Alex smiled, sitting on his bed. "We survive because we have to, and we thrive because we try. That's what makes humans special." Lyra nodded. "I will remember today. I will tell others of your species' ingenuity. Your courage, adaptability, and resilience are inspiring. Not just to Zalara, but to the universe." Alex laughed softly. "Inspiring, huh? I guess that's our job now." They sat in silence for a while, watching the colony lights blink against the dark landscape. Alex reflected on the past days, the awkward introductions, the learning sessions, the crisis, and the repairs. Humans were not perfect, but they were resilient, adaptable, and capable of extraordinary things when they needed to be. Lyra broke the silence. "Tomorrow we begin restoring full operations. But today, Alex, your species showed its true strength. I have learned more about humans in the past 2 days than I have from centuries of observation." Alex grinned. Then I guess we're off to a good start, right? Humans and Zalara learning from each other, saving the day together. Yes, Lyra agreed, her eyes shining softly. We are off to a good start, and it is only the beginning. As they prepared for sleep, both reflected on the day's events. Alex realized that humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, leaders, and problem solvers. Even when faced with overwhelming odds, their courage and adaptability allowed them to succeed. And Lyra, for all her advanced abilities, had learned that humans' greatest strength was their ability to think differently, to act boldly, and to inspire others. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, repairs, research, and perhaps even new surprises from the galaxy. But Alex felt confident. Humans had proven their worth, not just to the Zalara, but to themselves. They could face the unknown and rise above it, together. And with Lyra by his side, Alex knew that no challenge was too great. Humans had a unique strength, and together, human creativity and alien technology could achieve more than either could alone. For the first time, Alex felt a true sense of purpose. Humans were extraordinary, not because of their technology or their weapons, but because of their courage, adaptability, and determination. As he drifted off to sleep, Alex thought of the future. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and incredible opportunities. But humans, with their ingenuity and courage, could face it all. And with Lyra by his side, there was no limit to what they could accomplish. Days had passed since the asteroid crisis, and the colony had regained its rhythm. Life was returning to normal, but the sense of achievement still hung in the air. Humans and Zalara were working side by side, and Alex found himself at the center of the rebuilding efforts. His confidence had grown, and so had his respect for Lyra and her species' advanced abilities. Yet Alex knew the galaxy was unpredictable. Peace was temporary. Danger could strike at any moment. He sensed it as he observed the horizon from the observation deck. "Alex," Lyra said, approaching him quietly, "we have received a transmission from the Planetary Council. They request a demonstration of combined human and Zalara techniques in colonization and defense. They are concerned about future threats." Alex nodded, understanding immediately. So they want proof that humans are more than just survivors. They want to see what we can do when we work together. "Precisely," Lyra said. "And you, human Alex, will be central to this demonstration. Your species' qualities must be highlighted." Alex smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility. Humans had faced countless challenges, but this was different. This was not survival, it was recognition. A chance to show the galaxy that humans were extraordinary. They gathered a team composed of humans and Zalara engineers. Each member had a role, but the strategy relied on combining human ingenuity with Zalara precision. Alex and Lyra worked together, creating plans that balanced creativity and accuracy. The first task was to reinforce the colony's energy grid, ensuring that even under extreme conditions, power would remain stable. Lyra calculated the optimal energy pathways, but Alex suggested slight modifications, anticipating failures the calculations couldn't predict. His suggestions were unconventional, but Lyra trusted him. "Your intuition is valuable," she admitted. "It anticipates chaos that pure calculation cannot." "Thanks," Alex said. "Humans survive because we plan for the unexpected." As they implemented the modifications, a sudden power surge caused several circuits to overload. The Zalara engineers froze, unsure how to respond. Alex didn't hesitate. He grabbed tools and rerouted the circuits manually, improvising solutions while keeping the system stable. Lyra assisted, providing real-time calculations to prevent further failure. Minutes later, the surge was controlled. Alex's quick thinking and adaptability had prevented a potential catastrophe. The Zalara engineers looked on in awe. "Your species thrives under pressure," Lyra said softly. "We calculate risk, but humans act." Next, the team focused on constructing a new observation tower to monitor potential space threats. Materials were limited, and environmental hazards made the task difficult. Lyra's calculations provided the safest framework. But Alex encouraged the team to experiment with different designs, combining human creativity with Zalara efficiency. "Try this placement," Alex suggested, moving a support beam slightly off the calculated axis. It might distribute weight better and adapt if the wind changes. Lyra watched, analyzing his suggestion. It is unconventional, but you may be correct. Implement it. The tower stood tall, stronger than any Zalara design alone could achieve. The combination of human ingenuity and alien precision had produced something unique, a structure that reflected the strengths of both species. As the demonstration concluded, members of the Planetary Council arrived to inspect the colony's progress. They walked through the habitat modules, energy systems, and observation tower, taking note of how humans and Zalara had worked together seamlessly. One council member, a tall Zalara official, stopped and observed Alex. Your species' contributions are exceptional. You humans think differently. You adapt, improvise, and inspire others. Your actions have saved this colony and elevated it beyond expectation. Alex felt a swell of pride. We just do what we have to, he replied humbly. Humans survive by finding solutions, no matter the odds. We work together. That's how we thrive. Lyra stepped beside him, her eyes glowing softly. It is more than survival. Humans create, lead, and inspire. Their qualities are remarkable. I have seen it firsthand. Today, the council sees it as well. The council nodded in agreement, visibly impressed. It was clear. Humans had earned not only recognition but respect. After the council departed, Alex and Lyra stood quietly, looking out at the colony. The repairs and improvements glowed softly in the twilight. You know, Lyra said, I used to think Zalara knowledge and technology were supreme. But humans have qualities we cannot replicate. Creativity, courage, resilience, and intuition. You make the impossible possible. Alex laughed softly. I guess unpredictability is our superpower. We think differently, act differently, and survive differently, and sometimes that makes all the difference. Lyra studied him, her expression thoughtful. Your species' adaptability is not just impressive, it is inspiring. I have learned more about leadership and problem-solving from humans than from my own species. You are extraordinary. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. It was one thing to survive a crisis or repair a colony. It was another to earn respect from someone as advanced as Lyra. But even more than that, he felt proud of humanity. Humans had always faced challenges, sometimes impossible ones, yet they had endured and thrived. Tomorrow, Alex said, we face whatever comes next. And I know humans will rise to the challenge, Lyra nodded. And I will stand beside you. Together, human creativity and Zalara knowledge can achieve more than either alone. As night fell over the colony, stars scattered across the sky like a million tiny diamonds. Alex and Lyra returned to their quarters, tired but content. The past days had tested them, taught them, and united them. Humans had proven their worth not through strength alone, but through intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Lyra looked at Alex and smiled. I once thought humans were fragile, limited, and unpredictable. But now I see your species is capable of greatness. You are truly extraordinary. Alex smiled back. Thanks, Lyra. I guess we humans just do what we have to. And sometimes we surprise even ourselves. And others. The galaxy beyond Aurora Colony was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders. But Alex knew one thing for certain. Humans had something special. They could face the unknown, adapt and thrive where others might fail. And with allies like Lyra, humans could achieve extraordinary things. Together, human and alien, they had faced disaster, rebuilt a colony, and earned recognition from the galaxy. Together they would face the future and nothing could stop them. And in that moment, under the soft glow of the colony lights and the infinite stars above, Alex felt a profound truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, leaders, and a force to be respected throughout the galaxy. The adventure was far from over. The universe was vast and unpredictable, full of challenges that would test courage, intelligence, and creativity. But Alex knew that humans with their unique qualities would rise to each one. And as he drifted into sleep, beside Lyra, he felt a quiet pride, not just for himself, but for humanity. They had faced the impossible and proved themselves remarkable. And this was only the beginning.